So now is the time I get to say, let's roll some dice in anger. This is Curse of Strahd. I forgot to look again. What session is it, Lewis? Can you remember? 46. The Curse of Strahd, session 46. I'm Dave, the Dungeon Master. I'm going to start with Jake on my left, who's playing Damian. Lewis, with his paintbrush in his mouth, is playing Barwolf.
Hello.
Beneath him is Sam, who's playing Brungrik. Apparently, the mighty Brungrik.
Yep.
And
he's now got a great sword.
Yeah, +2, mate. Last but not least, Andy, who's playing Valkyn.
Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Miller can't join us this evening. Unfortunately, I was going to run his character, but I've decided not to, just to make it harder for you, boys, or potentially harder for you, boys. As usual, it's been a while since we've had a session. I'm going to keep this brief because there's 4 days until the wedding of Irina Kolyana and Strahd von Zarovich, to which you've all been invited. Once you'd received the information, you started gathering your troops. You'd gathered Esmeralda, you'd gathered Mordenkainen and Van Richten, who's still Rictavio. You still haven't told him to come out, as it were, as Van Richten. You'd also started to gather some troops. You'd managed to convince some of the Dusk Elves to join in. 9 of the Dusk Elves joined your campaign. And then there was a heartfelt speech in the town square of Vallaki, which was last session, where 20 of the town's militia decided to join in your crusade against Strahd, which is where we'll pick up the story. So it's the morning of 4 days left until the wedding, and you're all woken with a peal of thunder. And then as you clear the sleep out of your eyes, you hear the rain start. You've seen storms, you've seen rain in Barovia, but you've not seen anything like this. The phrase "the heavens have opened" in Barovia does not seem to fit, but that's the best way to describe it. It is lashing down outside. First thing in the morning. What do you want to do?
Breakfast would always be a good start.
Well, if you're staying at the inn, the Blue Water Inn, a breakfast would be provided for you, no problem.
Nice.
We handed over the gem, didn't we? The final gem.
Yep.
We're not keeping hold of them to make sure that Strahd didn't.
Oh, maybe
get hold of them. I'm sure we were gonna keep them on tag, and then we were gonna return them once we'd finished what we'd started. I thought that's what we discussed.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you're still in possession of the gems. I thought you'd handed them over, but
if that's the case.
No, you're still in possession. As you said it, Jake, I remembered you had. But the Martikov family are in charge of the Blue Water Inn, so they're there if you have changed your mind.
I think Damian's of the approach of let's not give Strahd any advantages.
Yeah.
And I think he want to keep him in the bag of holding.
That's why I remembered, because that's exactly what you said last time. Sorry, Andy, go on.
You're thinking, would it be wise to stow him somewhere if we're going up against Strahd? We don't want him on our person. So we can work some jiggery pokery to try and get him off us.
Well, the bag of holding it's like a magical dimension created for specifically that bag. That's why there are magic items.
I'm just thinking of weird scenarios. What if he got hold of that bag? Would he not be able to access the gems?
You'll have to
Yeah.
kill me first.
Oh,
I say.
big talk there, Jake.
Well. If he wants to bag a hold in him, he will have to physically kill me. I'm not going to give it
He's
up.
been quite attached to it over this 2.5 years.
Hmm. I inherited it for someone. It wasn't mine to start off with.
You inherited it off Niloren
Yeah.
when he fell.
Oh. Yeah, so I guess from Damian's perspective, he'd sooner just keep hold of it, keep them safe, protect them with his life, make sure that the Strahd doesn't have the opportunity to regain them, but would want to keep them as close to himself as possible.
How's that?
Can I just be excused for a minute?
Sure. Yeah, that was a very
No,
polite way
Jack's
to
doing
ask
that.
them. Yeah. So, in the inn with you is as Rictavio and Modern Kynan. The rest of the militia are there. We'll say you've arranged a rendezvous 8 a.m. or as close to 8 a.m. 8th bell, ready to march or ready to move on. It's going to take 3 days. Oh yeah, we worked out it's going to take 3 days to get to the village of Barovia, which gives you the final day to go back on yourself to arrive at Castle Ravenloft.
Yeah, because we were talking about going and speaking with Ismark, weren't we, before we headed to Barovia, so that we could potentially organise some additional support,
Mm-hmm.
didn't we?
Yeah.
I think from Damian's perspective, he'd just want to make sure that we've got all of the supplies and bits. I mean, do you think that is there like there is a holy building in town, isn't there? There's a church.
Yes.
Is there any chance that we could maybe go to the church and see if he's got like some like holy water and things? That almost
You can
like
do.
stock up.
Yeah, the church is currently abandoned. You what's its name? It will come to me eventually once I find the
Not Father Lucian, is it?
Father
No.
Lucian. Yeah, it was Father Lucian.
Was it?
Yeah, in Valakhi it was. Father Lucian went with you, and Village, the young lad, went to Kresk. So the church is currently abandoned.
Mm.
So who was it? Sorry, who was it they used to cast the resurrection spell? Was that somebody else? Because I thought that was a Lucian.
Is that not the abbot?
No, you it was your abbot
Yeah.
from Orth, where Brungrik and Niloren came from. So Strahd, it sounded like the story that Niloren told Brungrik is Strahd had sent the werewolves out through the mist to kidnap this.
I
This
thought
priest
that was
specifically.
Lucian. I thought he was Lucian. Sorry, my fault.
That's all right. But you can go and have a quick recce. So it's at St Andrew's Church in Valakhi. It's pretty much as you remember it. You as you have a poke around, we'll give it a 50-50. Jake, if you want to roll whatever dice you roll and declare which 50% you're choosing.
I'm going to roll a d20 for good measure, and anything over a 10, so 10 and below, nothing. 20, 10, 11 and above.
Gotcha.
So,
7.
No. What we'll say is it looks like it's as you left it hastily abandoned, but then when you look closer, you can see the ornament here or there has gone missing. The font is totally empty. It looks like it's been ransacked.
Oh man.
nothing's sacred.
Welcome to Barovia.
It's true. But I feel like I made a rod for our backs here. And then I think Damian would just kind of like grab some of the leftover timber from the pews. That's probably like a bit broken up and smashed. And he'd take it in the respect of potentially going to use it to make some stakes.
Fine, no problem. You stick as many stakes in your backpack as you can carry, mate. / bag of holding. That's a lot of stakes.
There's a lot at stake. I'm sorry.
You should be.
It should be, yeah.
I think on that then, if we've not got really any access to anything else, I think we should just get on the road and start heading towards Barovia. See if we can go and speak to Ismark. I think it's only fair that we tell him as to what's happened.
Okay. Literally pissing it down outside, you meet at the rendezvous point with everyone involved. So that's 32 people other than yourselves. What we'll say with Reman, being as Mr. Miller can't join us this evening unless he does suddenly pop on, is Reman is absent. And when you wake up with this thunderstorm and the heavy rain, you go downstairs for your bacon and eggs, and Reman isn't there. And as you look round for him, he seems to have mysteriously disappeared. No sign, no trace. But you meet as you had agreed in the village centre, and you're ready for a march to Barovia. Just for expedience, we'll say that the people that you've brought that are with you have provisions to be able to get there and back again. They've done a Samwise Gamgee, and they're being optimistic about the fact that they will be returning. So the march to Vallaki, as soon as you open the gates from Vallaki, the march to the village of Barovia, you know it's going to be a trudge. The roads are muddy. It's thick, gloopy mud with this downpour. Even before midday on the first day, you start to hear grumbles and moans of dissent from the militia that you've managed to gather. Would anyone be doing anything about that?
Yeah.
I think Brungrik would. He's in a past life. He's been trained for this type of thing before he became a cleric. So he's probably sort of moving around, offering a drink here and there, trying to raise spirits. Just keep pushing through, lads. We're nearly, once we get to Barovia, then we're done, and we can go and take the fight to enemy. That sort of thing. Keep your chin ups. Bad weather's bad weather. You'll be the heroes of Barovia. Those sorts of connotations. He's just sort of rattling through. He'll move from group to group as he hears them moaning and looking disheartened, and the Lord of Light is with us and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Anything from
Being
Barwolf?
a friar took.
Yeah, I mean, Barwolf will probably try and get everybody's spirits up and going. Maybe do like a bit of a almost Misty Mountain dwarven song. Like they're all sat around Frodo's table, going Misty Mountain, almost humming to try and get a bit like a march in the army, but trying to
Okay. Found.
get everybody picked up.
So between the two of you, you managed to boost morale. I'm not going to ask for a roll necessarily. I like the descriptions of those. And yeah, you're forming the camaraderie of the march and the toil that is clearly ahead of you. So you get to the end of the first day, and you suddenly become aware of the fact that without Reman, you do not have access to a magical. So we're aware of Barovia. I'm not going to overly explain it to you. You're on the Svalich Road. You've got thick, dense forests either side of you. At the end of the first day, we'll say you've managed to. In fact, no. You've managed to get to. Yes, why not? You've managed to get to the old bone grinder, the windmill. So it's not thick forest around you. It's quite open with this windmill just creeping round in the wind and the breeze as the rain still tips down. Lightning at least every 2 to 5 minutes. There's a ear-splitting bolt of thunder. What are you going to do for the first night?
I think we're definitely going to need to take watches. And I
There's
think
no hags left, is there? We killed all the hags. Is that right?
You believe so?
Hmm. Is there any activity, if we look at the windmill, is there any activity in and around the windmill?
All of this so far is going without much dice rolling. No, there's nothing obvious. There's no lights on, and it's because it's hardly light throughout the day. It's that stormy. But as you get closer to the windmill, there's no lights on inside. The front door is sort of blowing in the breeze as the sails just travel around slowly.
Do we want to take refuge in the windmill?
I think it's potentially a place of safety, and at least it's warm. We know we've defeated the hags in there.
Is it worth probably scouting it out first? Rather than us all just charging in there.
It might not hurt.
We'll do a strekkie.
Yeah, who's going?
Okay, we'll do a stealth recce.
Sure. Yeah. So let's have you
I won't
self
let
roll
you go on
first.
your
Then.
own then. Because of
I
what's
mean, I don't
happened
mind
before.
going with him because I can stealth as well, can't I?
Yeah, I've got +5.
Okay, so as the rain lashes down, you get the next bolt of lightning, thinking you know where Valkyn has slunk off to, but he's just disappeared. He's just vanished into the undergrowth. Going slightly next to him, you can just make out Damian, but only just. Barwolf trips over a log, but rights himself, and then does manages to disappear into the undergrowth. Let's have a perception check from all three of you then.
It's a natural one.
Okay, righto. So What we'll say is you're sort of approaching from 3 different directions. From Jake, if you sort of take you approach from the north. So Damian from the north, Barwolf from the south, and then Valkyn, you're sort of slinking around on a direct path straight towards the entrance. So Damian doesn't notice anything untoward. Barwolf, you're aware of the fact that you remember being here, and you remember the door being closed, and the fact that it's flopping around in the breeze leads you to believe that maybe someone has been here. And Valkyn, as you approach, similarly, but you also, from behind the building, as you're looking at the front door, from behind the building, you just catch the faintest impression of a shadow disappearing and moving away from the windmill.
Right. Yeah. I'm in earshot of everybody else. I'd kind of usher to him like, we're not alone. Tell you what it is, but we're not alone. Thinking phases.
Now you've pointed it out. Can I look at the ground and see if I can see anything?
Yeah,
Like
sure.
any imprints or?
Yeah. It's given the rain, I'm going to give you a disadvantage roll, but it would be survival. In fact, I mean, fill your boots if anyone wants to.
It's only a 10.
Would I be able to discern anything from this glimpse that I had of the shadow, Dave?
It was a shape. Yeah, shape that moved away. So if you think of the mist of Barovia and the rain teeming down, you did actually get reasonably close to the building before you saw it, but still not close enough to be able to make out any shape. If rough guess is, it would be instead of D&D mechanical terms, a medium creature. It wasn't anything large. It wasn't a massive bear or a direwolf or anything. It was, but you couldn't tell if it was humanoid or what shape it was. Just a shadow moving away. That's survival with. You just need to roll again, Sam. Yeah, just roll a second one. Okay, so 15 as because obviously Brungrik's bringing up the rear with everyone else, and you're taking your time a little bit more. You're aware of the fact that everyone's gone for a recce. You do see what I'm going to say, along the path coming towards you, stuck in the mud, you do see an old tattered boot, and it looks as if it's been sucked off someone's foot and stuck in the mud. And next to it, you can see an imprint. And then you can see sort of a few other imprints before and after that the rain is now disguising, but something has moved away from the inn, looking to be straight towards you in the not too distant past.
There's something's lurking about.
Lurker.
Dirty bastard.
Right. Any traps or anything been laid down, Dave, or anything like
What did you roll for your perception, mate?
that? Can't remember now. Hang on.
Perception 15.
15.
Yeah. Okay. Not that you can spot. If you, I tell you what. Then, if you're specifically looking for that, would you be wanted to check the grounds or the building? Or both?
See, we're in Barovia. We're in Barovia at the minute, so I'd be thinking: is anything set outside to ambush us, like zombies or skeletons, or something that's buried underground? And then I'd be thinking more inside the house. Is it booby trapped? Is there anything? I mean, I know it's not. You'd be looking for explosives and stuff, wouldn't you? You'd be looking for things that are rigged to go up and try and burn us inside the windmill if we're inside, that kind of thing. Accelerants.
Okay. Let's do one at a time then. So this will be investigation checks outside to start off with. So we'll say Damian and Valkyn withdraw back to Brungrik as you're sort of discussing this boot that you've found, and it's an old mouldy boot. It's say mouldy. It's an old tattered boot. Humanoid. With your
Child size,
investigation, say again. Sorry, dude.
Child size, adult size.
Adult size. You'd describe it as an adult male work boot.
Okay.
Hags wear boots. And I see him as being barefoot. I don't see him wearing boots.
No, I'm with you. I doubt very much they cut their toenails, so it'd be painful to wear boots.
Yeah.
So investigation then, though.
You horse poo.
So outside, it's just too muddy. You're competent at your job. You're pretty sure that there isn't anything, and if there was, there's even a chance that the rain and the wind might have set it off anyway. But you don't find anything outside. Let's take you to the door then, if you're happy to do that, and just check around the door and have a poke in. So it is dark inside as you swing the door open, and if you recall, you've got sort of shelves, pots and pans, a shitty, dirty kitchen. There was the stove downstairs. It was full of cages of chickens and frogs, and then stairs ascending to the left. A big pot in the centre. Everything's dark. There's certainly no signs of movement. But have you second investigation for your checks?
Yeah, before I do that, and when I'm looking inside, could I cast prestidigitation and almost like blow a bit of wind in there to see if it sets anything off?
Yeah, of course you can. So the wind that you conjure doesn't stir anything other than the dust and the cobwebs that are inside.
Cool. All right. 18 for my next one.
Nice, much better score. Yeah, you as you sort of have a look around, a quick glance, you're drawn to the door itself, and you can see that the lock has been smashed from the outside. I say the lock, just the handle has been smashed from the outside with some force, which is why it's blowing backwards and forwards in the wind. But you don't spot anything suspicious in terms of traps. There's nothing making you think that there's anything rigged. And there's also, with your 18, I will tell you that there also doesn't seem to be any intrusion into the windmill. Everything that you've spotted so far seems to be on the outside.
So I think I'll relay this back to the guys and let them know that the lock's been smashed from the outwards, and I'm assuming that means the door can't be secured then, if the lock's smashed.
You'd manage it's swinging inwards. So if you were inside and you braced it with something, then you could manage it. But
okay.
There's only one got detect magic.
No.
I weirdly don't
I
have
do.
it.
I do have detect magic.
Got a divine sense. Who's that?
Divine
I've got
sense
some
is a good
playing
shout.
cards.
To be fair, divine sense is a great shout. It'll rule out Fae, Fiend, Celestial, or Undead.
Can I use divine sense and David?
Sure, of course you can. What's the range of divine sense?
It is 60 feet.
60 feet, wonderful. So, what's going to happen now is as you. Well, here's a question for you, because you're an assassin drow, but you've converted. You've become a vengeance paladin, or you're heading along the path of a vengeance paladin. As off the cuff question, this, Mr. Johnson, I don't know if you've considered it yet, but how does it manifest when you do your divine sense, and where do you draw this sense from?
I suppose any of my magic powers I kind of draw from sense of vengeance and anger. If you it's like a dark side of the force, kind of that kind of thing. Not hate, but definitely he's definitely an angry man and definitely a vengeful spirit. So he's kind of drawing off the vengeful side of things to,
Okay, nice.
So,
sorry, dude. Yeah, let's carry on.
No, that was it, mate. That was it.
Okay, good, nice one. So as you sort of tap into this wellspring, this flooding wellspring of anger, two things happen, one after the other. Is you sense 60 feet is a lot farther than you can see in this storm, and you still stood outside. The militias behind you, the Barovia 3, I'm going to refer to them as, so I don't have to say their names every time. And you sense undead, and it's ping, 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 and then there's a scream, and then there's a shout, and then there's a thud. And as these undead that you've sensed become clear, they disappear back into the mists and retreat 60 feet away. What I'm going to ask each of you to do is roll d20, and it's going to be similar to a death saving throw. If you fail, one of your militia is going to be wiped out. One fail. Nice. So only one fail. So of the thud that you hear is one of the Valkyn militia has their throat torn out, just ripped clean out as you go and investigate. But the three that survive are looking shocked and terrified as they say to you, and it's sort of all three that you trying to speak at the same time, say to you that the shadows were moving, and then out of the shadows came this form, this angry feral form, and then there was fangs and ripping and strength. I was being dragged, and I just managed to get my shield up, just managed to get my. I can't believe I'm still alive.
Bloody Varghursts.
Fanny Schmeller.
He's on the prowl.
Is there a knowledge check we can do, Dave?
Yeah, I have a little bit know-how about. I'm a monster hunter, aren't I, as well?
Yeah. Okay. What? Let's have.
And Ricton's guide as well, if that's still helpful. And we've got Rictavio with us.
You've got Rictavio with you. Yeah, I know, because again, I was tempted to just give it to you, and you've got Rictavio with you. So this, it sounds like an attack. The three things that these militia are saying could be some form of incorporeal spirit, shadow, spectre. It could be with the fangs and the ripping, so it could be an incorporeal spirit, or it could be either vampire spawn or werewolf. So what I'll do, I'm going to give the guardsmen perception checks, and I'm going to set. Now I'll tell you what I'll do first. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. None of them were able to clearly get a proper description other than what they've told you. So you're still none the wiser, but it's mostly because of the information you've received from the guardsmen, not your own personal knowledge.
Do you know we know there's some kind of... Are they... Because Divine Sense has picked them up, that means they're, what, fiends or undead or something, doesn't it?
Specifically undead, Valkyn sensed.
So now I know this, could I have another survival check to try and see if I can find anything or identify anything? Because I have advantage with anything to track Fey, fiends or undead.
Yeah, sure.
$22.
Okay, so you spot humanoid footprints, corporeal humanoid footprints. No sense of nothing lupine about them, and they're corporeal, which would lead you to believe that you're being preyed on by vampire spawn.
I'm going to pull the sun sword out then.
Okay.
We're aware of this.
Nice. So the sun sword starts to glow in this dim light, and you're a beacon. Thank you, Lewis.
What noise does it make, Jake? Just out of interest. You've got it. What noise does it make?
It's a sword of sunlight. It probably wouldn't make a noise coming out, would it?
Fine.
I'm going to give it a little rub, and then it's going to be like, bzoom.
As the sun, because that's the other point. You've got the beacon of Argynvost, still, because it's the lighthouse type light that's still shining around. Until it's got nothing to do with the fact that I've forgotten. Until now, you've not seen the light of the beacon shining, but now the sun sword's out. Damian has created this sort of radiant glow around him, and it's pierced the mist enough to now see the light of the Argynvost Tower shining around. But there's nothing around. Everything seems to have retreated into the shadows and into the mist.
I'll say, I'll call everybody around me. So I'll say, men, fall back, fall into the radius of the sphere from the sword. It shall offer us protection from the shadows.
They're quite happy to do that, Jake.
What else are vampire spawn not like him?
So what you
not
would
like
know,
stereotypical vampires that don't like garlic or anything like that.
garlic doesn't feature in D&D myth. So
we need to change that.
Yeah, you've thought enough for me to tell you. Their weaknesses is they're harmed by running water. So they can't cross running water. They're harmed by it. They take damage from it. A stake to the heart incapacitates them. So if you manage to get a stake in the heart of a vampire, or even if it's on full hit points, it's just incapacitated. And then there's the sunlight sensitivity as well that you know. And they are resistant to any form of non-magical attack and necrotic damage.
If
You
we were
piss on
to
them.
if we were to hide inside, so I'm going to play on the garlic myth here. If we were to hide inside the windmill, would they be allowed in? Is they have a bit of like that, they can't come in unless they're invited? Or
Exactly right, yeah. Which is what you deduce from the lock being smashed on outside, and there's no movement inside.
they need
They're
permission
not
to
allowed
come
in.
What about the running water thing? Do the windmill is the running water here because they used to make pies in here and things?
No, you're on higher ground. Let me push your. I'll just to give you the image of the windmill again. I'll just put it on the stream.
Yeah.
So it's on a tump, quite elevated.
How heavy is the rain? Like, are we talking?
It's torrential,
like
mate.
absolutely lashing it down.
Yeah, this is you're out in it for less than a second, and you're soaked to the skin, and it's been persistent all day.
Could we not dig a moat round the windmill then? If the rain went into that, surely it would be classed as running water if it built up because it's torrential rain.
Is that not a lot of hard work for one night's stay?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to take a long time.
And they can't come inside unless we invite them in.
Yeah, I suppose. But then there is like 30, well, 29 now people and us. The windmill
28.
ain't that big. 28.
It's a big windmill, though, isn't it?
There's enough space for you all inside.
Oh, right, fair enough. I do that.
And to be
Sorry,
fair,
Lewis.
at least if we're in the windmill, the sun sword can hopefully light the whole, so offer some protection because it's got a decent radius of sunlight.
You see, now if I was playing Nordham, I'd be all up for the moat digging because I did it. With magic. Done it a couple of times.
Magic.
So what's the plan?
Yeah, it's got.
Down in the windmill.
Everyone in?
I
Okay.
have a bad feeling about this.
How your divine sense? How long does it last, Mr. Johnson?
Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't say.
If you click on it to open it up, the spell description should tell you.
Yeah. I've
Duration.
only got. It's not got a duration, mate. It's just got action type and range. Just until the end of your next turn.
Okay, righto. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. It doesn't matter. I was gonna be a prick, but I won't. So you managed to get everyone inside. It's. I mean, you can still hear the rain and the thunder and lightning outside, but at least it's warm. Not warm. At least it's dry. Downstairs is the only dry area. As soon as oh, that's what my voice sounds like. Apparently, that was coming from yours, Louis.
Yep.
Yep.
Has their hair stood up on the back of your neck there, Dave?
Well, no one. That just sounds so boring. I don't know how you guys listen to me. I genuinely don't.
Voice.
It's not very often I watch a video back, but when I do, I'm sort of like, oh, for fuck's sake, how do you listen to this shit? Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so downstairs, and it's properly cramped. In fact, no, you won't all fit in. So the first 2 stories are the only places that you can rest, and it's cramped. You're lying, spooning the person next to you. You have no other option if you're going to sleep. What's the plan for during the night?
Damian's
So
going to stay downstairs with the sun sword. It's like in the kitchen. He's going to stay in there.
Okay.
So as everyone goes in, Brungrik with the last through the door, and he'll stand outside the door and he'll begin to pray. And then above him will appear a large spectral form of his interpretation of Pelor, because he casts Spirit Guardian of Faith, sorry. And it will
Nice.
stand there for 8 hours, and it will guard the doorway. Any enemy that comes within 10 feet of it will potentially take damage.
Nice. So what does Pelor look like, then?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead today. I imagine him because I imagine it would be Brungrik's interpretation of Pelor, because
Yeah.
I guess no one would truly know. So for Brungrik in his past, I'd imagine he would look like a mighty warrior. So wouldn't have a face, probably have a bustling beard coming out from some form of helm, some form of like Valkyrie winged helm, and he'd have a mace with a burning sun on the end of it.
Nice.
And this grand, huge armored warrior. Just it purely inspires confidence and faith. And it stands 10 foot tall outside of the door, just silent, unmoving.
Good spell. Handy spell in Baldur's Gate 3 as well. Okay, so so as Rictavio hears this or sees this, I say hears this. I've just heard myself through Lewis's thing again. Lewis, stop it! He's putting me off. He'll sort of pat you on the back and he'll say, "Impressive indeed." He'll say, "Pelor, I believe."
Pelor is with me everywhere I go.
And you can see he takes out a symbol. And it seems to be a coverall symbol for you. You look at it and you think, "Oh, that's Pelor," and then you think, "Oh, wait a minute, no, that's not quite right. This isn't quite right." And it's Pelor, it's Lathander, it's Therion, it's other gods related to sun and rebirth, and he seems to have this coverall worship of gods of light.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm quite happy for you to be secure in the old bone grinder on the first night. I will, just for a little bit of flavour, through the night, especially in Valkyn's watch, or in fact any of you, with the exception of Brungrik, during your watch, you do sense movement and you hear movement outside. It's like pitter-patter of feet, and these feet seem to be dancing across the mud. You can flare up your abilities, you can do whatever you want, but you sense undead. You sense that that there's something out there, and they're potentially testing your weaknesses. They're testing the electric fence, but not actually pissing on it.
So if they go within 10 feet of it, that's 20 radiant damage. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, they don't. They certainly don't do that. But if you're happy, then we'll go on to 3 days until the wedding of Irina and Strahd. As you wake up with 3 days remaining, the weather remains the same. If anything, it's become worse, and you didn't think that was possible. The mists have now rolled in, as well as the rain and the thunder and lightning. It completely obscures the light from Argynvost Holt. You know it's there. You still know it's there. You can still feel it, but it's properly miserable out. There are grumbles from the ranks even before you've set out. People haven't had a decent night's sleep. You know, Bill's farted in Arthur's face, and Arthur's accidentally kneed Jeff in the groin while he was rolling over, and so you're going to need another pep talk. Well, I'm putting words in your mouth, but you know, did you want to?
Valkyn will pipe up and you know, remind him of all the free wine and free food waiting for them at Barovia. There'll be wine on tap and fresh meat and bread and cheese.
Well, at the mention of cheese, you've convinced the dungeon master. But so, what I'm going to ask for on day 2 of your trek, so 3 days remaining, I'm going to ask for a persuasion check on that, then, Mr. Johnson.
Would it be persuasion or would it be deception? Because I have no idea if there's not.
You please yourself, mate.
I'll go for.
What's 11 deception?
Yeah.
Why the fuck haven't you been trying to deceive everyone that you meet?
I've not used that enough, have I, to be fair?
No. Well, don't worry. Okay, so it's a strange situation that you find yourself in. I mean, you're in Barovia. That's strange enough. But the Dark Elf Vengeance Paladin Assassin is currently the chief morale officer. Bizarrely, he seems to be doing a decent job of it. But yeah, morale before you set off is decent enough that you're not going to be worried about the 28 remaining unless you've got with you.
Can I ask a quick question? Because my geography is going a little bit out the window here. I'm just, now that you're saying that the weather's getting worse, I'm aware that's going to start to slow us down. Have we got to go past Barovia to get to Castle Ravenloft?
No, you've got to go past Castle Ravenloft to get to the village of Barovia.
So, what are we looking at, like, speed-wise? So how many days is it going to take us to get to Barovia?
I'll tell you what I'll do for you, dude. If I figure out how to do it. How did I do it last time? Do that? Sorry, bear with me, mate. I'm going to be able to help you like that. There we go. So if you just check the stream for a sec, in the middle of the screen, you should have your hand-drawn map. Or it's on Discord, actually. You guys can see it from there.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have known that.
No, it's all right, dude. Don't worry. So stick that there. So you're currently... You see where... If we look to the north... Lake Zarovich, south of that Vallaki, south of that is the windmill.
Yeah.
So the actual road, the road isn't true to that. It goes a lot further to the east before it comes back. So day 1, you're at the Bone Grinder. By the end of day 2, if you follow the road along, you've got gates. That's the gates of Barovia. That's the entrance to Castle Ravenloft. But you will be able to get over the bridge and the shortcut leading to Sir Pools, and that's TSER Pools, which is where you met Madam Eva the first time. That will be the end of today.
Yeah.
End of the 3rd day will be, or towards the end of the 3rd day, hopefully tea time, you'd be in the village of Barovia, and then you've got a day's march to get back to Castle Ravenloft to get to the wedding.
But then, considering the current weather conditions, is that still going to be a feasible plan?
Have a... Okay, what kind of check that's going to be? It's straight away, I was thinking nature.
Ooh. Okay. Can I give myself some guidance first?
Of course you can.
Cool. Oh shit!
Yeah. So the
I was literally sat there going, I wanted that 20 on this.
nice. So what? And I'd sort of decided this before, and it had occurred to me if I was going to make it miserable and rainy for you, then that might be an issue. But what I'd decided is that underneath the mud of the road are the stone cobbles of countless generations ago. So even though it's slippy, it gets to a point where it's relatively solid. So your progress won't necessarily be hindered while you're marching. However, it's still feasible, but with that amazing roll, a roll of 24, if you were to get into combat, there would be a chance of slipping. There would be a chance of. I don't know. Yeah, there would be repercussions of the storm in combat.
Okay, because the camp is tonight's end stage, isn't it? Roughly, we're getting to the camp, aren't we?
Yeah.
But they're Vistani, aren't they? Under Strahd. So, are we potentially walking into the delay, then losing manpower because we're going to take casualties, and therefore making going to Barovia a pointless aim, whereas we could just go to Ravenloft? Does everyone know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from. I think from Damian's perspective, he wants to rally Ismark because Ismark's Irena's brother, and he has every right to know what's happened and wants to be able to support, or at least wants him to be able to help fight for his sister.
Okay.
And I mean, he's a burgomaster in his own right, so he's almost a bit of a natural leader, so might be able to help lead the militia and the Dusk Elves while we then carry on forward. I guess the other side of it is with the Vistani as well. I don't know whether I still have any sway with them because I'm part Vistani.
No worries. It was just, that's why I suddenly thought, hang on, if the weather's getting worse, is that going to slow us down? You know what I mean? I was just thinking, hang on a minute. Are we doing this just to bolster a militia to miss the wedding? That's what I was thinking.
No, I get where you're coming from because it defeats the whole point if we go past. But we have got enough time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah.
But it is a just, isn't it?
It's a solid just. I mean, you rolled 24 for a just, so it's it's a virtual guarantee as long as you don't spend too long getting sidetracked. Okay, so stick with plan A.
And we're breaking into the city. We're going to try and break in under Ravenloft, aren't we? We're not going for the straightforward route, are we?
Talk me through that, Jake.
So I think we were discussing about the fact that the six of us, five of us, we're going to look at going for going down into the dungeons. We were going to try and find Strahd's crypt, or at least see if we could maybe locate Sergei Sergei's body.
Yeah, so that's because obviously Esmeralda's, she's already told you that she's been in several times. There is only one way into the grounds of Castle Ravenloft, and that's over a bridge. Ravenloft itself is stood on a massive promontory. There's no way up unless you can fly, which you can't. So you're gonna have to go over this bridge into the grounds of Ravenloft before you can then split off. If you know what I mean, Jake.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't want to give you an impression that there was like a sluice gate somewhere and you could creep straight into the dungeons. That's just not. That's not going to happen in Castle Ravenloft.
We're going to have to break through. That's fine. I think then, if while we're carrying on marching, I think Damian would try and keep the sun sword out. Then to try and keep a circle of light around us, keep us safe, and stop the mists kind of directly encroaching on us.
Okay, sure.
Just while I've got you, Dave,
yeah.
before we do anything else, there's a delay on YouTube and Twitch with our voices. About 2 or 3 seconds, I think it is. Might have been longer. Because I thought it might have been YouTube or something, or it might be my stream on TikTok. But yeah, literally, we're fine on Discord. But then when you go onto a streaming platform, it's like, ha, and then we're all just sat there straight faced, and then you just see one person laugh. It's like, oh. So I don't know if it's settings playing silly beggars or what.
So, because yeah, no, the stream itself would take a few seconds to transmit. It wouldn't be as live as it is on Discord. I don't think it's ever going to be that, mate.
Yeah, the audio is just delayed.
Oh, is it? I don't know what's
Yeah,
telling
so
me.
it's the audio that's the issue. Yeah.
I can refresh everything, but yeah. Oh, we've got a few people on. There's 5 people on Twitch. Hello, if you're watching. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And 3 on YouTube as well. Oh, we'll probably know all these people, though, don't we?
It's probably us.
It is probably us. How many? What's your TikTok count up to? Out of interest.
I don't know yet because there's no real data been published yet. I'll be able to let you know by the end of the stream.
Right. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is, Lou. This is what you get when you cheap bunch of NHS workers. So you carry on. You continue with 3 days remaining from the windmill, and it's going to be a sort of a similar repeat to the day before. About midday, dissension starts again. So, are you going to try and boost morale again? And if so, who and what?
I feel like Brungrik's going to be very much the same. He's going to be going around, the Morning Lord, Pelor is with us, the Lord of Light. He defended us through the night. He kept our enemies at bay. He wants us to succeed. Yes, it's tough. Yes, the weather's rubbish, but this is the stories of myths and legends. This is where heroes are made. You might even tell some people, just think, the next generations of sons are going to be named after you. And
oh, nice.
Yeah. Imagine the feasts and the celebration. Again, he's trying to portray them as these heroes. They're going to be heroes to the nation.
Cool. Right, so that sounds like a persuasion then.
Damn it. Guidance?
Sure.
He's not a very charismatic dwarf.
Apparently, you've sold yourself short there, Yoff.
It was this close to a nat 20. It literally just rolled off the 20 onto the 19.
So, while you've got your dice out, roll another d4 for me, please.
Oh dear. Three.
Right. Okay. So, what I was going to do is there is another attack, and it's in the mist and the rain. You don't see it coming. There's virtually nothing you can do about it. So everyone other than Sam, if you would roll a death saving throw, please.
Even with the sun sword beaming off.
Even with the sun sword beaming off, yeah. I mean, you can't keep 28 lads plus everyone else. Just Mr. Johnson.
I've forgotten how to roll death saving throw.
Well, I might have to remedy that pretty soon. Just D20, mate.
No,
It's D20.
Yeah.
don't encourage him, Johnson.
Okay, so again, there's these attacks, but however, would you believe, Damian's Sunsword seems to be holding them at bay. How's that, Jake?
Yeah, quality.
I'm enjoying your stream at the minute, Jake, because as you're looking down, it looks like you're developing a bald patch, but it's your what's it? It's your headset pulling your head.
I was certainly had a ball patch.
He's got the thickest head of hair of any human being I've ever met in my life. I don't know that's going to fall out anytime soon. I was getting a bit of hair envy there, mate. Get my own back because
I've got a massive fucking Swede, so if I were to lose my hair, it'd look rather embarrassing.
Yeah, Sue entertains it everywhere we go. If she sees a hat, she has to put it on my head so she can laugh at me. No hat suits this shit. Not one. She makes it a game. Dave, come here. Cut off. Right. What was I saying?
Well, the last time I went go-karting, I had to have a triple XL helmet.
You got a massive head. Oh, man.
I'd like to say it's full of something, but it really fucking isn't.
Right, where are we for time? Okay. Right, okay. So, there's sort of attempts that sort of, you know that 3 of these creatures, these vampire spawn, are trying to get to your militia, but you manage to hold them off with the light of the Sunsword, and you get to Sir Pool's at the end of the second day's expedition from Vallaki, and it's completely abandoned. The last time you were here, there were the barrel-topped wagons that all Vistani travel in. They've completely disappeared. Madame Eva's tent that looked like a permanent fixture, despite its mobile nature, is nowhere to be seen. It is night time. You were sort of banking on the fact that you might be able to get a little bit of shelter here, but there's absolutely nothing. What do you want to do? Apparently, spill your mead down you. Did you get that all on your lap, Johnson? I'm sure that spilled.
Yeah, a lot of it went down me. I'm really quite good at missing them now.
He was really hoping that nobody noticed that.
Yeah, play that
And
one. Cool.
Dave had to call you up for it.
You know what I can do? I can make it even worse for you. We're at 1 hour and 7 minutes if anyone wants to stick that on a video and loop it.
That's a short answer.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Mead as well. Not mead, I can't afford mead.
What is it?
San Miguel.
Is it?
As much as I enjoyed that mead that Lewis got me. Yeah, it's not something I buy on the regular.
Have a stab at brewing your own. It's about a £5 a pop.
Oh,
Have a go at brewing your own. It's about a £5 a pop.
if it's going to look like yours, Jake.
Mine looks class now. I've got like 4 or 5 bottles, just chilling, doing their
Doesn't
thing.
look like UTI.
No, it's completely once it's done its like initial ferment, it just clears up.
Okay.
I've got both batches just aging at the moment.
I am eager to taste it, to be fair. Your beer, not your UTI.
That's what she said.
So I think, are we looking at setting up? Because is it starting to hit nightfall, Dave?
Oh, it is night. Yeah, you've arrived hoping that you'd find shelter, but it's arrived.
Is there a defendable location?
You're on the banks of the Iblis River. Let me show you. I could remember where. Here we go. That was the excuse me, that's the fan art. Let me get rid of the Discord picture. So that's when the tents were there. All you've got now is just open land here, river, running water, that side. Sorry, that was a bit obvious. You didn't necessarily need me. Is that the best one? Yeah, that's the best one.
Does water run from a river?
Is there like a part of the ground where you could almost go like a U shape with the river, and then you'd have one exposed side?
Do you mean an Oxbow Lake?
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I can remember from GCSE geography. Not on this stretch. This is too wide for it to form an Oxbow Lake. It's you'd have to travel quite some distance. There is if you remember, because you've crossed over quite the beautiful scenery that is Barovia, you've glanced it briefly. You're aware of the fact that the natural beauty of this place, if it wasn't in a demi-plane of dread, is incredible. So you've got this cascading waterfall, falls into the Ivlis River. This is the river that runs down into a large pool, but even that's a good hour trek across the mud to get to. I mean, you could do it.
Just we're going to be marching at night, aren't we? Which leaves us even more vulnerable. We have got running water to our backs, and I wonder if we like set up a perimeter.
No. If it's only an hour's trek, I can do something about an hour. I just can't do something about all day.
All day
So-
or all night.
No, I couldn't do all night, but I can do something about an hour's trek in the dark to defend us.
Yeah.
I can see Dave's brain clogs a turn, and he's thinking, "What's that little shit got up his fucking sleeve now?"
Well, I mean, it was big shit, but yeah, all right. I've met you.
But I say you're a bit bigger than Dave.
So if we wanted to make for the waterfall to try and give us a bit more of a defendable position, I could cast daylight.
To be fair, with the Sun Sword as well, that gives us some cover as well. I mean, I'm happy to carry on making it to the now. Yeah, because we need to react to the current situation that we're in. We haven't got an easily defendable position. We've got nowhere to really safely bed down and camp, and we're at massive risk of being slaughtered throughout the night by vampire spawn. So I think if we can defend ourselves for an hour, carrying on marching through the night to somewhere better, let's do it.
It's a
Might be a
60-foot
puppy
Yeah.
fight
radius.
for the boys.
Can you cast sunlight off Jake's bald spot just to give him a bit extra range?
Get a bit of a reflection on the go.
Yeah, sorry, Jake.
It's okay.
Yeah, so Brungrik will put this to the group then. He'll be like, "Listen, we know of a better position to defend ourselves. We only need one more hour out of you boys, but I can do something to protect us from these attacks.
Okay.
All I ask is for one more hour."
See, wicked. I'd already decided if you were going to make this extra trek, it was going to be another persuasion check. But what I will do with your speeches, your previous roles, the fact that you've got sort of sunlight glowing from your bollocks, you can have a persuasion roll with advantage, and you can guide yourself as well.
Perfect. Don't mind if I do. Persuasion. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, keeping the troops together. So morale's still pretty good, despite the weather, despite these this constant I mean, now it's near constant forays from the vampire spawn trying to test your weaknesses, test your defenses, and you find what you're looking for. You find a defensible position. However, you are exposed to the elements, and the rain has not stopped. You have the only defensible position is well away from the tree line, and the trees are a good 500 feet from where you are. If you're bedding in for the night, it's gonna be wet.
Gonna be a bit moist.
First pocket.
Yeah, I'm out of tricks here, guys. I think.
Don't think
Unless
I've
I
got anything.
fireball everybody to warm them up.
Well, what about what about if we can see if we can do that? At least like set up some campfires to get some heat going.
Okay.
Right.
So this is going to be survival with disadvantage. You can all roll it, and I am, given the storm, given the water, I'm going to set your DC at 17.
Can I take a guidance on that?
Sure.
So I not just cast prestidigitation and just instantaneously light a campfire?
Yes, however, that campfire is going to get pissed on and rained on and all the rest of it. So it's the preparation around the fire that will require. You can continually cast it. However, you can't stay up all night. So I think Sam's done it. Was that survival disadvantage?
I can't see. Oh, let me just.
Hold on, I'll have a look. It was 15 with disadvantage, Sam.
There you go.
So what we'll say, we'll
17
stick
altogether.
tidy. We'll stick Barwolf in the mix. Barwolf is casting the prestidigitation. You're all doing your bit to try and to light the fire as best as possible. We'll incorporate your morale checks, and you'll create a game of it, and it becomes something that it becomes fun. But you manage to light some fires. You manage to sort something to keep morale up, and you manage to rest.
I'd also summon the Spirit Guardian again.
Yeah, I assumed that he was going to be making an appearance. So you wake up on the day after you've set your watches. Again, attacks constantly throughout the night. Yeah, let's leave it there. So, last day's journey. We'll take you to the village of Barovia. Let's do it. Okay, so this is fan art of Barovia. There's a few I'm going to show you because this was, I think this was one of the first pictures I showed you on your first session of when you went through the mists of what the sort of forests of Barovia look like. And then this one is a really nice fan art picture of the village of Barovia. So this was what it looked like when you first arrived.
Yeah.
And you recall it from when you were last here. The visibility is considerably less. You can barely see 10, 15 feet in front of you. But the only other thing I'd say to you is Castle Ravenloft here. It is fan art. The way I've got it envisaged is the bottom of the building's up here. And it's on a massive promontory, this huge rock with this thing over. But So you arrive at the village of Barovia. Morale is. I'm not going to ask you for a roll on this because you've been nailing the rolls throughout. But as soon as you arrive, there's no lights on. The village of Barovia was the most dismal place that you've been to in the whole of Barovia itself. But there's no lights, there's no sound, there's no movement. The Bildrath's, the shop that you went to, the door, like the windmill, is just hanging open and blowing in the breeze. And as the mist rolls in, everyone it just groups together. And there's discussion between the Barovia 3 and the guardsmen. You can hear them all talking. So what do we do? Do we go with them? And eventually a sort of spokesman presents himself, and they'll say, they'll gravitate towards Brungrik, and they'd say, they've started to call you father. So father, what's the plan? Do you want us to come in with you? Do you want us to hold back? What we're doing?
I don't like the look of this. We'll stick together.
Okay.
Strength in numbers. We've held it together this far. We'll stick it through.
Sure. So what was your plan then, now that you're here? I'll give you...
Jake,
you know what? Let me
We need
give
to go
you...
see this Mark,
Yeah. Cool.
the Burgomaster. We need his support.
Oh. Okay. So, I'm guessing that would be a blank screen for you.
Yeah, mine's
Black
a blank
screen?
screen.
Right, okay, let me just... Okay, got that? Yeah, Village of Barovia. So you're entering along the Svalich Road here. You've got the church where you first met your first vampire spawn, Donovich's son. Yep. Who was Daru.
Donovich hung himself.
Yep, Donovich hung himself, yeah. This is the Blood of the Vine Tavern. That's the shop with this door flapping around. That's the Burgomaster's house. So what was your plan, or what did you want to do?
Shall we
We
see
either
if
walk
we...
straight down the road or we skirt around the town.
I think we go straight for Ismark's house. If he's the Burgomaster, you'd hope he'd have at least some form of guard and militia. And if he knows that his sister is at risk, then he might hopefully be able to at least come with his forces.
Okay. I mean, Sam raised an interesting question. Are you going straight for it along the road, or are you doing sort of sneaky beaky, or what?
We snurgle around there. Snurgle, yeah. It's a technical term.
I think we're at risk either way, aren't we? Because even walking through town, I guess there's risks to that because of people jumping out the houses. But
I was thinking of a high risk of ambush if we walk through town.
mm.
Do a stealthy snurgle ahead, see if there's anything about.
It's your willingness to adopt new terminology, Johnson. It's an endearing feature.
Oh, the accepted term was strecky, but snurgle.
Just snurgle about.
Snurgle.
Snurgle fits. I'm happy with Schnurgle.
So we've still got the rain, we've still got the thunder, the lightning, but your force will hang back behind you and follow you wherever you go. A Schnurgle with a force of 28 people plus the Barovia 3 might be a bit of a stretch, but you could manage it. You could try.
Well, now I'm saying I'll Schnurgle first, and then usher forward for the rest of Schnurgle.
Solo Schnurgle?
Solo Schnurgle, followed by mass Schnurgle, to reduce any Schnurgle lateral. I don't know.
All I
Yeah,
can
I'm
hear
gonna
is
Schnurgle.
gibberish.
Too much. Just roll stealth and we'll call it quits there, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. $26. Okay. Okay. So you make it across this land. You, with it not being road, this is heavy, thick mud. There isn't anything solid underneath the ground that you're passing over. But you being the master assassin, you manage, not sort of Legolas tiptoeing across the snow style, but not far off. But you are aware that there doesn't appear to be any obstacles, there doesn't appear to be any ambush set up, but also you're aware of the fact that this is for the likes of, if you'll forgive me, Sam, for the likes of Brungrik, is likely to get stuck in the mud coming across this way as he is to take out his hip flask. It would be possible, but you'd have to sort of put some effort into it, and you get my meaning. You know what I'm saying to you.
Who's carrying the dwarf?
Don't carry him, toss him.
You're gonna have to toss me.
What's the dwarf? The dwarf.
So this is going to be a more challenging option. I wonder if we just start approaching through the town.
I mean, we know we're going to get ambushed, don't we? So it'd have to be a steady, watchful advance, active perception checks, because it's ambush central, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Okay, so assuming that
Johnson put without metagaming too much, could Valkyn use his divine sense?
It could.
So what I'll do, I'm gonna backtrack with the use of divine sense. Every time you've used it on the limits of your 60 feet, you've sensed undead every single time you've used it, and you've used it up to capacity every available opportunity that you've had over the past 3 days. And it's the same here.
We can still sense. Well, can still sense the undead up to 60 feet away.
Do you get an idea of numbers?
Yes, depending on as you're using it now, what I'm going to ask for is I'm going to attach a roll to it. So, Mr. Johnson, as you're doing it, would you just make a perception check for me then? Okay, 2, but they're from. Let's say you stood on, still on approach, still. Wrong button. Still on the outskirts, adjacent to these 2 grey buildings here. You get one ping from there and one ping from there, so north and south. And as soon as you ping their location, they disappear back into the. Well, you can't see them anyway. It's just the ping that makes you identify them.
I mean, if we're pretty adamant they're vampire spawn, could we make somebody seem like a bit more of an appealing target? I.e., I think Damian's happy to almost take the lead a little bit and almost make himself a bit of a target.
Please, someone have a skirt with them.
I'm doing my part.
Nice. Okay, is that the plan?
I think Damian would be like, we've been tormented by these creatures throughout our whole journey. I think it's now time.
I was just about thinking the same thing. Brungrik was just going to call them out. Similar sort of premise, like try and just get them to actually engage with us rather than pussyfooting around it now.
They're predators though. They look for weakness, don't they? They look for the opportunity to strike. And I think that's why Damian would think that maybe if I leave myself a little bit
You're
vulnerable.
going to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. He's like, come on, do it.
Well, the other thing is I can cast protection from good and evil on myself as well, which gives me resistance to Fae, Fiend, and Undead, I think.
They have disadvantage to hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cast protection from good and evil on myself.
Sure.
Because I get 2 uses. And then I'm gonna start kind of walking off from the party.
Okay.
And we'll bring up a steady follow.
Sure.
But
so
what
what
I am. Oh, sorry.
No, go, mate, go.
I'm not gonna have the sun. I'm gonna have the sun sword in my hand, almost like a readied action to like ignite it as soon as I can. Something gets within range to strike me, almost if I can see it happening.
Sure. So is anyone else making preparations? Damian's making himself a target, but
I'd
Brungrik's
probably
going to
kind of
draw his greatsword, have it resting on his shoulder.
I'd kind of want a bit of a vantage point from somewhere where I could easily see somebody and ping from 300 foot away, but almost in the shadows, so I can't be seen, if that makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. So if you want to make a stealth check to go from sort of a bit building to building while Damian's doing his part.
22.
Sweet. So for Valkyn.
What in terms of preparation?
Yeah.
What am I doing? He's just going to draw daggers. I think Dave, I don't think there's much else I want to do at this point.
Okay. So,
I
yeah, sorry, go.
And I was just going to say, kind of as Damian's walking, he'd almost like want to try and taunt them a little bit. So he'd almost like, he'd be like, you are like whispers on the wind, but you still fail your master.
In fact, can I change my mind, Dave? Can I just roll a stealth to disappear into the shadows
Of course you can, mate.
within proximity of the group?
Sure.
It's 29.
Okay. Do you want to roll? What's your intimidation, Jake?
Yeah, I'm happy to go for something like that. Intimidate. $13.
13. Okay. So you see, as you, let's take you to the map then. So as you start your procession, Damian in the lead, calling out these whispers on the wind, marching forward. Brungrik not far behind, great sword on his back. The Barovia 3 and your militia will follow behind, with the 2 stealthers just disappearing. You get to the cross section, to the junction here, next to Bildrath's Sand, the Blood of the Vine, and you can hear. For Damian and Valkyn, it's a familiar sound from your previous visit to the village of Barovia. You hear weeping. You hear the weeping of the woman that was identified to you as Mad Mary, just sobbing and weeping, coming from the south.
She lost her daughter, didn't she? She's the one whose daughter got turned into a hag.
And as you walk further south, out of the mist, you see 2 figures, or Damian will, in the middle of the road. And it takes you a second as you stop and take in the scene. The 2 figures one seems to be caressing the other. And one, you can see the shoulders bobbing up and down as it's Mad Mary out in the street, sobbing. And the other person that seems to be consoling her or holding her is Ismark. And you can see the back of Ismark as he seems to be trying to console Mary. What do you want to do?
Is Mad Mary, is that mother of the child that I butchered?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think on that
This is
note,
awkward.
Damian would probably call out to Ismark. He'd say, Lord Ismark, burgomaster of this fine town, we have come to seek out your aid. But he'd be doing this in a way that Damian's quite wary of this situation that's in front of him. So he's quite wary of Ismark and Mad Mary and the fact that it does it. Almost seems like it could be a bit of an illusion, or it could be a trick or a trap.
Okay, sure. So you don't get a response initially, and you're perhaps through the mist, like I say, a maximum of 20 feet away from this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see it. But as you finish addressing Ismark, the sobs from Mary turn into more of a gurgle, and a shoulders sag, and a body sags, and eventually Ismark just releases it as her body slumps to the floor as he spins round with his fangs covered in blood as he launches towards you. Let's roll initiative. It's not sunny in Barovia, mate. It's really not. Right, let me take Reman out. Okay. Now, bear with me. Let me set this up.
I've added a new one to the soundboard for everybody to use for when everything seems to be okay.
Liar!
What's that from?
Star Wars.
Alex,
It's Anakin,
Star
isn't it, when
Wars,
he's
Star
yelling
Oh,
at
is it?
everyone?
Oh, nice. Right. So
And you call yourself a geek, Dave.
I didn't hear it. I am devoed that it was a Star Wars thing and I didn't get it.
Oh, hang on, I've got one for that.
Seriously, Dave.
Nice. Right. Because this is where we're going to start next session on a fight, I think. But I'm going to make all the rolls now. I want to fight him.
We got. Fucking hell. Stop, Dave. Stop. Stop. Too many vampire. Oh my god.
Well, you will go ahead and be level 9, motherfucker. Right.
Much better if we were level 10.
Right, now I've got a buttload of stealth checks just to roll.
And remember, my passive perception is now 20, Dave.
Yeah, no, I can see, because I can see Lewis's is 17, Jake's is 16. and it is 14. So, hold on, I can't remember. As I just said. Okay.
It worries me that we got to about 5-6 there at least.
So don't be checking the stream right now. Ooh, natural one. 17.
On 8
tell us-
vampires.
You're not supposed to see that. Turn your chat thing off on. What's it? 20 is 5. No, you're right, mate. You're right. Ooh, 11. So 6. 50. Yeah, that's fine. 7. Last one. Oh, yeah, okay. Right, so you're all aware of... It's a bit of a giveaway anyway, because I've called them Vampire Spawn A, B, C, and all the rest of it. So that one's appeared. 3 was 17. So what I'm going to do is, for the ones that have rolled particularly well, none of you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6.
Me and Barwolf still hidden.
8. Yeah, you are. So what I'm happy for you to do is you've come from here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Damian there. Just make sure you're still... so Damian is... Just move Brungrik out of the way and swap sides. No, because that's on the path. So Ismark is here, and that should be now... Yeah, so 20 feet away from Damian. You guys, Brungrik, I mean, you're kind of... I'm going to suggest to you that you're there, but feel free to move yourself.
Yeah, he's going to be roughly 20 feet away from Damian because he'll be keeping an eye on him.
Cool. But for the rest, I'm going to stick them all in because they're all here. It's just going to take ages to do. And we'll start next time. I mean, it is going to be the end of the session here because you've been yawning for ages, mate. I know you're on 2 day shifts in a row, aren't you?
Oh.
You? Are you not tired?
I've not been even yawning. No, I've been rubbing my eyes because of my hay fever.
Oh, right. I thought you looked tired, mate.
No, it's my hay fever, mate. Really been fucking playing up with my eyes.
Shiny.
Right, let me show this as a player because it's a nice map. Okay, so
we can kill them all.
Oh god! Oh, I mean, I know some of you were late to D&D, but as a kid, we used to play for like 7-8 hours without. It was nothing. There was nothing there to arrange this weekend away. So yeah, if Damian's here and Brungrik's there, with your 20 plus stealths. In fact, let me move these lads a bit further back because they're a bit closer than I was. Andy and Lewis, you can have a sneaky beaky wherever you want to, really.
Beaky over here.
I mean, could I be on top of one of the roofs or something, Dave?
Yeah, well, you didn't specifically say, because if it was going to be an extra check for a rooftop scramble,
okay.
You can do, mate. I mean, so it would, I'm guessing acrobatics. It's slippy as fuck, mate. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do beforehand, because you know you're an experienced warrior. It's chucking it down. There's lightning flashing, so your visibility is going to be great. So it's going to be a disadvantage roll, but you'd be you'd be aware of the fact that you'd be able to conceal yourself. Meta terms. You'd be able to conceal yourself if you rolled 50. Hold up. Let me. I can do this in a much more organised way. If I look at the passive perception of okay, if you get 13 or more on a disadvantage roll, you're going to be able to stay on the roof.
13.
Right, you go for it then. So you tell me where you want, and I can remove some of the vision blocking so you can put your lad there.
I was thinking more like probably like here or something, like next to this chimney.
Okay, yeah, go for it then. So that's a good way away.
Oh, is
And
it?
your visibility is down to 20 feet.
Oh yeah, it's 60-something feet, isn't it?
Yeah. You've approached from this. I'm sort of thinking round, these buildings here, dude, because we've got to try and keep it.
Yeah, all right, we'll go for this one then.
Go for that one. Right, okay. Let me just. I can't remember how I did the vision on these things. Oh, okay. Right, let's remove that part of the building. You should be able to now. Oh, in fact, I do. Yeah. So you're on the rooftop there.
Cool.
And you've seen the vampire spawn leap out of the building. So all of these vampire spawn that you can see have leapt out of buildings. You do get sort of the hair on the back of your neck. You know Barovia now. You know there's more shit coming. And you're aware of the fact there are other spawn around, but you can't see them. That takes us to 10:32, gentlemen. So it's going to be interesting next time we play. If hopefully Miller can make it. If he does join in again, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, brilliant. I'm going to turn this off and